Hey guys, this is Jake
And Jake.
from August Burns Red, and you're watching Grasser.
Production.
That was great.
Hi there, and welcome to Grasser Production. My name is Andrea, and today we're having Jake and Jake. No, just kidding. Jake and Brent of August Burns Red here in Munich. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, Jake is like the new running gag. What is that all about anyway, and how did it start in the first place?
I don't know. JB just did it one day, and then kids started doing it after that, and we were like, "Oh, I guess we should keep this going." There wasn't anything that was planned or anything. JB just thought it was a funny joke the one day, and then everyone just kind of started doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all Jake. I'm Jake too.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the gig.
Yeah.
Well, your band is playing at Heaven Shall Burn's the Final March tour. Did you know these guys before, and how is touring with them so far?
No, we I think maybe we played a couple of festivals with them here and there, like throughout the years, but we've never actually been properly introduced to those guys or did any real touring with them. So this is our first real, face to face with those guys, and I have to say they're probably the nicest dudes we've ever toured with. Like, they go out of their way to to have conversation with us, or Alex, their guitarist, came in yesterday in the morning when I just got into the green room, and he's like, "Are you comfortable? Like, do you need anything?" And I'm going, "Dude, what? Yeah, man. I mean, this is great." And they're all just really, really nice guys, and just very, just positive and uplifting dudes. And so it's really cool, especially when you have a headliner like that. That is really respectful of the bands that they're bringing on tour with them, and wanting to engage. Some bands, especially bands in of our level, have been around for a long time. Sometimes they don't really, they don't care to do that, which is fine. But it does make it more, of a good time and a good tour when everybody wants to talk and just encourage each other, and yeah, so it's been awesome, and these shows have been ridiculous. We knew that they were pretty big over here and stuff, and so we were excited, but then playing these shows, it's just a completely different. You hear one thing and then you see it and you're a part of it, and you're like, wow, this is really cool,
I would want to ask if there is any country on this tour you haven't been yet, but I'm pretty sure that's definitely not the case, is it?
We've been to every country on this tour already. Yeah.
So in general, what countries haven't you played yet that you would like to visit someday? There are so many countries.
I'd love to play Turkey. We were supposed to play Israel once, and then we couldn't play there anymore because our show in Turkey got canceled, and we needed to go to Turkey before we went to Israel. Mm-hmm. Because the Turkey show got canceled, we couldn't play Israel then either, because we would have been stuck somewhere for days. Mm-hmm. So those two. I'd love to play. Let me think. There's not a lot of places we haven't played yet. I want to play Antarctica.
Maybe on the moon.
Yeah. I think Metallica played on Antarctica, and I think Fall Out Boy did too. But that's just the only way to get all 7 continents. And so that one maybe someday. Last show ever.
Do you have any preferences? I
mean, that would be pretty cool with me. China, I think, would be pretty interesting. But yeah, we'll go for Antarctica. Yeah. We'll shoot for that one, and then the moon. Yeah. We'll rip a gig on the moon.
We've been following every step of your way the past years. Well, not literally, that would be quite creepy, but but beginning with your Constellations tour in 2007. 11 years, 8 studio albums, lots of music videos, 2 DVDs, countless tours, and a lot of interaction on the socials. Later, you're here now, and you've come highly far. That time. So at that time, 11 years ago, could you have imagined August Burns Red to become such a great influence?
No.
When you were just a high school band?
No, definitely not. I remember being when I just joined the band. I was with Brent in his car, and I was in the back seat, and we were kind of just talking about where the band could go and what some of our goals were. And I remember one of my goals was to be on the front cover of AP magazine. Mm-hmm. And I look at Brent and I go, Brent, do you think one day we could be on the front cover of AP magazine? And he goes, maybe, we'll see. And like, that was a goal for me then, like since then, I mean, we've done so much more than what I could have possibly, where I could have possibly have thought or imagined this band to go. I mean, I kind of think for me, when I was thinking about what we were doing, I was thinking we were just going to play our music with our message all over the United States, and like that was going to be it. I didn't think that we would be here, doing an interview with you, touring with Heaven Shall Burn, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, but with that being said, there's been an immense amount of work from everybody in this band and all of the people behind the scenes,
But it's even nicer to look back and see how much effort you put in and that it all paid off.
Yeah, of course. So it's, and so we've been doing it this way, and we know that we have a good formula and it works, and everybody in the band knows their position. So we just continue to do this and continue to grow, which is a beautiful thing. Because at the age of 33 years old, with a career of 13 years, you didn't think, you know what I mean? Like no one would have imagined that this would be my life. So I'm super thankful, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty great ride.
Another impressive thing is that your band setting hasn't changed since 2005, I think. 2006.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still quite a long time, very long time.
Correct you, but we're just
and that's also pretty uncommon for bands, as it often happens that somebody wants to go into another musical direction, or you just can't, don't come along anymore personally, and another million reasons. What's the most important thing to you that keeps you guys together and also on tour without wanting to kill each other?
I mean, space. We got lucky that we were able to, move to a tour bus. That helps a lot. I think if we were still in a van and trailer every tour in really close quarters, this many years later, things could be a little bit different. So that really helps. Also, just the fact that we're able to support ourselves financially. That's probably actually the biggest reason. I mean, to be honest, a lot of members leave bands because they don't feel that this is the best business move for them, and they have families of support. They have bills they need to pay and things like that. So you see a lot of people drop off because of things like that. But we've been lucky. We've been fortunate to have a good fan base, and they support us. And because of that, we're able to keep going. And I also think that everyone knows how to push each other's buttons and how to not push each other's buttons. So if you'd like to be in a fight that day, you probably could. But if you don't want to be in a fight, you can probably easily avoid it. So I think that's another thing. Like, nobody is trying to be confrontational. None of us really have that spirit or that personality. So that helps a lot too.
It's like being married to 12 people without the sex, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, it's like, who that person is. And, we've been together for so long, and now we're at an age where it's like, we're all grown men. Like, we'll just shoot each other straight if there's an issue. But in all reality, like, no one's trying to make anybody be different. No one's trying to, tell someone that, this is the way it needs to be. And we all, like, genuinely, I think, really care about each other. And so, it's like we'll pick each other up when someone's down, or we can, we understand that there's times where we need to be patient with each other, or give somebody a little room, So I think just over the years, it's like literally, it's like a marriage. It's like being with someone for a long, long time, and you know what I mean? It's like, I love you, like, you're a pain in the ass sometimes, but like, I still care about you, and we're just going to get through this, whatever it is. And we've had plenty of bumps in the road, you know what I mean, as a band, but we've all been able to just, care about the other person more in that situation and get through it.
Yeah. You just got to suck it up.
Yeah.
Let's consider your music video to Invisible Enemy. I guess you already knew that we were going to talk about that particular one, but your puppets got really famous. So yeah, in that video there are you guys represented by puppets, which perform the song Invisible Enemy. So you didn't have to work that much on that video. Samuel Helene, however, had to do so even more. Whose idea was the whole thing with the puppets? Was it still hard to like implement the whole concept?
Like you said, we didn't have to do anything. It was Sam's idea, and the reason it came about was because we were having big scheduling conflicts between when we could make a music video and when the deadline for it needing to be done was. So he just kind of said, look, I had this idea. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Have you ever seen the movie Team America? I can use like the same production team. We can make puppets like that and they'll play the song. And we were like a little skeptical at first. We had a video that was claymation and like stop motion come out years ago, and then it never saw the light of day because no one at the label liked it. So we were like, ooh, we were a little skeptical about it. But he's like, I'll show you mock-ups of what we're thinking. They sent everything over, and then they sent us like all the tiny instruments, like pictures of that stuff. And we were just like, okay, this is great. Like, yeah, let's just go with this. Like, it's hilarious. So we went with it, and we didn't have to do anything. I mean, they did everything. The hardest thing we had to do was the Grammy interview thing with the puppets. We had to we recorded all of that, and then they dubbed their voices over. That was the only thing we had to do for all of that, and that was fine.
Yeah, because we got to play around with like the responses to the Grammy questions, and so it was kind of like we just made a big joke out of it. So it was a good time.
For several years now, Matt and Dustin perform some super intense drum solos on their shows or in your shows. That's just another hard work that has to be practiced and studied, I guess. Do the solos still catch the crowd, or is it rather just a short break for you other guys?
No, the crowd loves drum solos, and that's a thing that Matt. I mean, he does. He spends a lot of time on it, and Matt's just an absolute phenomenal drummer. So usually when he's like, "Hey guys, what do you think?" We're like, "Dude, like,
sounds good."
Yeah, we're like, the crowd's gonna love that, and they do. And he just, I think also Matt. You don't really get to see Matt a whole lot because he's behind the kit. But then when he, has his drum solo, man, he's an entertainer. Like he's screaming, he's yelling at the crowd, and like he's just really getting into it. And I think it's also really cool for him to just have that moment of, of showmanship and just to be able to kind of show off a little bit as to like what he's capable of doing. So I think it's fun for the crowd. I think it's fun for Matt, and of course I'm thankful for the 3-minute breath. So.
Nice. I've seen that you've been playing on the Self-Help Fest just a few days ago, which was founded by A Day to Remember. I think Jeremy McKinnon already explained why it is called Self-Help, but what does that mean to you exactly? Why did you like to play there?
I mean, it's just a big fest. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people there. I mean, obviously that's number one reason. But they're buddies of ours, and they've asked us to play. We felt really bad because they asked us to play every single self-help that they had last year, and we just couldn't because of scheduling stuff. So this year, they were like, hey, can you play this one? And we were like, we'll try and make it. We had crazy flight in, crazy flight out. Our flight got canceled. So then we had to book another one from a different airport for the next, and it was terrible. But yeah, they're really good fests. They are a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of people there. And it's cool to do a fest that's kind of owned and run by a band. But obviously they have a lot of people behind the scenes that are working on that, and so that day the dudes can relax and just play their show. But yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Jeremy explained somehow like that the people that come to their concerts are mostly seeking some kind of self-help, to cope with their personal struggles. What do you think about that? Do you think that your music helps your fans as well? Because I'm pretty sure it does, but do you get feedback sometimes? Or what was the most impressive one you ever got, if you did?
Yeah, I mean, we do every day on tour in the States, we do a meet and greet. And you get people every day that are hey, your music helped me through this time. I lost a loved one, and listening to the songs really helped. So we get a lot of that, and obviously that's very humbling to hear. I mean, we write music because we love to be here, and honestly, without fans, we wouldn't have that privilege. So as much as maybe our music helps them get through life, with that, it's like a very symbiotic relationship. Without them, we wouldn't be here doing this. So it's very cyclical, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Is there a possibility that the festival will come overseas, like to Europe or something? Because I would fucking love to go there, but or also to Warped Tour, but yeah, they're only hosting in the US, so you don't know anything about it.
I saw they're doing Japan, I think, this year. They're doing 2 in Japan, but other than that, I heard that they were trying to do the one in London, but I don't know if that's happening or not. I'm not really sure.
I think you're gonna have to have a little talk with them about it. All of your band members are known to be religious. Now, I've seen some people, in various comment sections on the internet, wonder why that is, or why you tour with Heaven Shall Burn, or you've also played with BMTH, whose lyrics are known to be at least very critical about religion of any kind. What's your opinion on that? Does it bother you in any way, or are they still like cool guys who, no matter what their opinions are on religion?
Yeah, I think. Well, first off, not everybody in the band's Christian. The only real outspoken Christians in the band would be myself and our drummer Matt. But with that being said, from us as a Christian point of view, like that doesn't matter to us at all. Like everybody's, has their own morals and values, their own lifestyles, things like that. And, if we were so easily offended or weak-minded or closed-minded, I don't think that we would be touring in a metal band for 13 years, because we would be like, oh, look, that's so offensive. Oh, my gosh, I'm so butthurt. But and the reality is, like, everybody has their own views and experiences in their lives, and certain people pick certain paths, and if you want to pick a path that has lyrical content about Satan or whatever it is, then that's your choice, and I choose to be a follower of Christ, and that's my choice. And I think it takes a real man to put things aside and to love people and to respect people, even if you don't agree with them or condone their lifestyle, but choose love over anything else. I think that that's a big part, and I think that's one of the reasons why A, this band has been as successful as we have been, and B, why it doesn't bother me one bit that I'm, if or whenever, would be on tour with a satanic band. That's just the way it is. And I think people put too much emphasis on that, like being like, oh man, how could that possibly work? Well, we're humans, and we can all choose if we're going to accept or not. Now, maybe if they don't want to accept us, well, that's tough shit, that's their problem, But for me as a Christian, it's like, no, I mean, I don't mind at all, and like I make the choice to respect people and love people. So that's what I'm called to do as a Christian, is to love people. So. And
in the end, it's art, and everyone expresses it differently. So that's also a big part of it, which you have to consider.
And it spices things up a little bit in the bedroom. You know what I mean?
In another interview a few years ago, JB talked about coping with true life and private life, and mentioned that for him it has changed since he got married, and he has to think about his obligations towards his marriage, and he also said that he has no kids yet, but in the future that could probably make things a bit harder. And well, here we are now, JV having a baby son, and I think some of you are also fathers already. I have
a 4-year-old.
Yeah, and how do you experience this as bandmates? Like, has this already affected your career or your tour life, or isn't it that hard?
I would say no. I mean, I think, especially if with my wife and I mean, we knew coming in this is how things were going to be. Obviously, like, especially with both JB and I are the main providers for our families. Our wives don't work, so touring is how we make a living and how we make an income. So obviously it can't stop. But yeah. So but yeah, I mean, obviously there's days when you miss your family, but this is what you signed up for. And we get to talk every day. It'd be different, I think, maybe if like FaceTime didn't exist, like if this was 10, 15 years ago. But anytime we want to talk, we can talk. It's not something that's extremely hard. And also, with the band in general, we usually take a good amount of time off. This is a pretty rare occasion right now where we went from one tour, had a couple of days off, into another. Like after this tour, we have 4 months off. So we'll be home for 4 months. And we usually kind of set up like that. We do maybe like 3-4 months of touring out of every year, but then the rest of the time we're at home. So we get to pick.
It's a pretty good deal.
We get to pick quality over quantity now. That's one of the advantages of being around for so long, I guess. So it's not as bad, I think, as people expect. It's easier to deal and cope with. Yeah.
And also guess that's a thing that just lets you grow further with your band as well, so that you can cope with things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like now it's like, okay, dude, we spent 6 weeks in a closet together, and now I'm gonna go home for a few months, and I don't ever have to see you, so it's nice.
Yeah, let's come to a topic I think most fans are really curious about. Your latest album, Phantom Anthem, has been released in 2017. Some people may have hard times waiting for a new one. So, are you already working on some new stuff, another album? Maybe.
Not yet. This might be a decently long album cycle. We'll see. We have a lot of stuff planned. We have a lot of stuff we want to do next year. So you might have to live with Phantom Anthem for a minute, because we have some of that stuff in the works that we'd like to do. So we'll obviously be writing along the way, but there are no plans.
Another Christmas album, maybe.
There'll probably be a Christmas song. I can pretty much guarantee a Christmas song, because that happens every year. But I don't know. We want to do some more stuff with Phantom Anthem yet. We think it's a good album that people really seem to enjoy. Yeah. So we might as well ride that wave while we can. We haven't been to Australia in a long time, so we need to do that. Who knows? Maybe back down in South America. There's a lot of places we haven't been in a long time. So, and like I said, people really seem to like this record. So we'll try and play it everywhere.
So what else are you up to this quite early year?
We have, like you said, we have this, and then we have a 15-year anniversary at home, show at home after this tour, and then we go do Warped Tour for a week. That's all we really have that's announced right now. So can't really say much other than that. But we're working on our fall right now. Nothing's solidified yet. But
we're looking forward.
So are we.
On December 7th in 2015, you were even nominated for the Grammy Award in the category Best Metal Performance. Though you didn't win it in the end, well, in our hearts you did anyway. That's still a huge thing. So congratulations on that. But what would you like to reach in the future with August Burns Red? Like, where do you set the bar now?
I don't know. I guess winning that one.
Yes, winning.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We'll take that. Yeah, that's the next bar. We've been nominated twice, so winning one would be nice. But I think that'd be the next big pinnacle thing. I kind of think now with Best Buy is not selling CDs anymore. Target's not selling CDs anymore. Apple's going to get rid of iTunes downloads. So as far as being on top of any kind of Billboard chart, I don't really think that that's even going to be a thing anymore. I mean, how can you do a Billboard chart when no one's going to even carry CDs anymore, So I think the next big thing would be to maybe win a Grammy Award. Who knows? Hope we get nominated again, but and also selling out some venues we've never sold out before. That's always nice. We played this venue called the Tabernacle in Atlanta that we've wanted to play for a decade. We've never been able to play it, and our show in the last tour got upgraded there, and it was insane. So it's a lot of little things like that people don't really think about, but
maybe touring with other bands that we haven't toured with. I don't know, ripping a gig with Slipknot would be pretty cool. Or maybe doing another tour with Lamb of God, or there's all those little things that we think about, you know, that probably the average fan doesn't think is like you know, on our bucket list, or you know, so. And just enjoying where we are, like, you know, that's a big thing that I'm just learning about, is like, instead of constantly trying to look at the future and what I can get or where I want to be or what I want to do, just enjoying the fact that this is where I am right now. You know, like the fact that this band has been nominated for a Grammy, let alone nominated twice, is just stupid to me to think. You know what I mean? Because like, we're in a metal band. You know, like we play metal music. I scream. Yeah, and like no one knew that. No one knew that. You know, like we just now know that. Right. Yeah. So it's kind of just being thankful and just enjoying this ride, you know, and not spending so much time thinking about the next thing, and then all of a sudden you didn't enjoy it, you know.
Well, my fingers crossed for you to achieve all the things that you wish. Thank you so much for taking your time, and have a blast tonight and on your tour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. See ya.
See ya.